Welcome everyone to another edition of the Moss Sports Podcast. My name is Andy Robertson. I'm joined by the Emmy Award-winning Mauricio Beltran Hernandez and Spencer Griffin. So, guys, what's going on?
I'm gonna get a special title or anything. I gotta go win an award or something.
We need some nicknames.
Yeah. And Mauricio, my mom said that you should, if she were you, she would have the Emmy on display every single episode. So I think you should probably do that.
Like the people on Seal meetings and stuff. That was when they were doing like news from their house, they would always have their Emmys right behind them.
Exactly. That should be you. I would. I have it tattooed on my face, a little Mike Tyson's hat, but it's an Emmy.
Be funny.
Yeah. Well, I just a personal announcement to make. Starting Wednesday, I will no longer be a sports reporter, so all of my opinions in this episode and moving forward are no longer valid.
Oh no! I mean, they're still valid as a fan though this time instead of I guess quote unquote analyst.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I still have that. I feel like this job has made me a better fan per se.
How do you say? Why do you think that?
Just more reasonable in a lot of ways.
I can see that. Less emotional, more logical.
Right. Yeah.
I found that too with journalism. It's like because you have to be, you're so ingrained with being so objective. You have to. You really put it in perspective. Like you're not one of those dudes that's gonna, have a terrible week if your team loses. You're like, it is what it is, because that objectivity is just kind of always there with you.
Yeah, that's nice. But anyway, yeah. So don't pay attention to anything I say. We'll start with the NBA this week. Of course, the Golden State Warriors wrapped up the NBA Finals on Thursday night. Thursday night.
Thursday night.
Yeah. So we're recording this Friday night. Usually we do Sunday afternoon. So they finished it up last night. Stephen Curry was the MVP. It's his first MVP award in 5 trips to the finals. 5 winning trips to the finals. Or no, 4 winning trips to the finals. 5 trips to the finals total. Because the Cavs came back down 3-1 that one year.
I'm trying to think who, because I know he got hosed on.
It was Iguodala.
He got the Iguodala one. I remember that. It's got to have been KD, right?
Probably.
And then what? Clay and Draymond? I really don't know.
I'll check it out real quick.
Okay.
But yeah, it's Steph's first Finals MVP of his career at 34 years old. So
that is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I remember seeing it come up a lot during the finals, but it's kind of weird that it's his first.
Yeah, because he's definitely well deserving. I mean, he's always played well. Of course, you've got to admit, this series he played just out of his mind. He averaged 31.2 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 5 assists per game, 2 steals per game, all on 48.2% from the field and 43.7% from 3. And like you said, he's 34 years old. He didn't really have a whole lot of help in a lot of these games. Clay and Draymond, especially. Of course, you had.
Hey guys, Andy here. I just want to jump in real quick and run through some of what is missed in this episode. We recorded Friday night, the 17th, and some stuff got deleted somehow. I was having some real computer issues. And so I'm going to jump in here and kind of give a lowdown of what we kind of did. We kind of finished up talking about the NBA Finals with the Warriors beating the Celtics. And then we hopped into the NBA mock draft. And so I'm going to just run through the lottery real quick here. I don't know if I'll get every single pick that we did right, but I'll try to do kind of what we had. And I'm largely going off of Spencer's notes here because he's the NBA expert. But let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to share my screen, and then we'll go ahead and do this. Okay, so the Orlando Magic are on the clock first. We kind of said that they would pick Jabari Smith overall first. He's kind of the one that's been getting a lot of play first overall. These first 3 picks are going to be pretty easy to make just because it seems like there's a consensus top 3 in the draft. Of course, the NBA draft is Thursday night. I'm trying to get this out on a Wednesday night. And if I don't, this will be out before the NBA draft. But yeah, Jabari Smith going to Orlando is kind of the thing that I think everyone's predicting. And so we'll go ahead and draft him. And then we had a consensus number 2 with Chet Holmgren out of Gonzaga as well. And so we'll go ahead and pick Chet Holmgren for the Thunder. And then the third kind of consensus pick here was Paolo Banchero. I think he'll fit in with Jalen Green. They just traded Christian Wood. We may have gotten into that kind of talk. I don't know if we did, but the Rockets traded Christian Wood to the Mavericks for the 26th pick. And then there was another trade with JaMychal Green involved with the Nuggets, I want to say. So we'll just go ahead and pick Banchero here at number 3 for the Rockets. Now, this is kind of where it got a little odd for us. I think we kind of knew what we were going to do here because I think the kind of difficulty we had was, do the Kings select Jaden Ivey or do they pick Keegan Murray? And I think we kind of decided on Keegan Murray just simply because the Kings have De'Aaron Fox. And so they have a pretty good point guard available, a point guard that they've wrapped a lot of money into. And so we kind of feel like Keegan Murray will be the move here. And so we went ahead and drafted Keegan Murray onto the Kings. And now this one is a little odd too, because we had the Pistons here. I think we went Jaden Ivey here for the Pistons, even though they have Cade Cunningham. They drafted him first overall last year. But we're going to go ahead and get Jaden Ivey here for the Pistons. And then Indiana, they could be trading Miles Turner this year. I know he's been on the trade market for a while now. Of course, we had that big trade with last year with the Kings trading Tyrese Halliburton to the Pacers for Domantas Sabonis. A little more in there. I don't exactly remember. But here, I think Spencer has the Pacers getting Benedict Mathurin. I'm okay with that. I think Mauricio's okay with that. We'll go ahead and pick Benedict Mathurin going to Indiana. And then we have the Blazers. The Blazers are kind of in an interesting position because they could trade Damian Lillard as well. I think he's been amongst trade rumors for a while now. The Blazers are just one of those teams that seems to be stuck in limbo right now. They traded away CJ McCollum last year to the Pelicans, and they're just probably one of those teams that probably needs to restart eventually. Probably trade away Lillard to get some draft picks. But we're going to go ahead and pick Shaedon Sharpe here out of Kentucky. He hasn't played a whole lot, but we think that it'll be a good pick for them. Someone that if they keep with Damian Lillard, that he can fit alongside him in that shooting guard role. At number 8, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. Spencer has them getting AJ Griffin. They might need a post player to fit alongside, or because you don't know if Zion Williamson will be coming or playing anytime in his career ever, even though he claims he wants to come back to New Orleans. Of course, they've got Brandon Ingram at the 3, CJ McCollum at the 2, Jose Alvarado at the 1, and then Jonas Valanciunas at the 5 position. I think this one's a hard decision. Spencer's got AJ Griffin from Duke, a guard forward, and we can go ahead and do that. He may not get starting time, but the Pelicans can always look to move out of this position. I've heard that the Spencer Suns could trade into this spot, so we'll go ahead and pick AJ Griffin here. Spencer doesn't believe that the Suns will trade into that spot, but you never know. It's draft night. All kinds of crazy things can happen. With the Spurs, we kind of went here. Spencer wasn't too excited about Jakob Poeltl as the Spurs 5 spot. DeJounte Murray should be a good 1. This is a Spurs, probably one of the worst Spurs teams, if not the worst Spurs team I've ever seen, a Greg Popovich coach team. So I think we're going to have to go with Jalen Duren here, and that's what Spencer has. Again, we're just probably going to defer a lot to Spencer because he is the more basketball-minded person. The Wizards, another interesting team. Of course, Bradley Beal has always talked about getting traded. I don't know if he will. I think we kind of talked about how this team maybe should not be as bad as they are, but either way, I kind of like if they keep Bradley Beal, I wouldn't mind them going after a point guard here, but that's just me. Unless they plan on using Bradley Beal at the point guard position and then Kentavious Caldwell-Pope moving up to that 2 spot. Spencer has the Wizards grabbing Johnny Davis, which I think that's reasonable, especially if you do plan to move Bradley Beal to that 1 spot. You'll have Johnny Davis to slot in at the 2 guard position. The Knicks, man, this is a team that a lot of people had high hopes for beginning the season because they made the playoffs last year. They fell off this year, just weren't really good. And I don't really know why that is. I didn't really watch the Knicks this year. But Spencer does have them getting Dyson Daniels out of the G League Ignite. So we'll just defer to Spencer here and go with Dyson Daniels. The Thunder are back on the clock. I guess I can kind of see them moving out of this position again, just because they have a plethora of draft picks. They've already traded 1 away, I believe. Maybe that was the JaMychal Green pick, but they have plenty of draft picks they can maneuver with. Sam Presti is just accumulating draft picks over the years, and they really have a really good player in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and you kind of hope that the team can build around him. We picked Chet Holmgren number 2 overall, sorry. And so I think the Spencer has Mark Williams out of Duke at center. I think that pick kind of gets redundant unless you move Chet Holmgren to the forward position. So I'm going to try and figure something else out here. You've got Lou Dort at the 3. We will go. See, I'm not as well versed in this as Spencer is. We'll go Ousmane Dieng out of the New Zealand Breakers. Sorry, New Orleans Breakers is the USFL football team. So here we're at the penultimate lottery pick. And the number 13 pick goes to the Charlotte Hornets. Of course, you've got Gordon Hayward, who's kind of on the downward trend of his career at this point. Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges. LaMelo Ball was hurt quite a bit last year. And so it looks like Spencer has the Hornets going with a shooter in Ochai Agbaji out of Kansas, which that's probably not a bad pick. They need shooting, just someone else to help out LaMelo. So we'll go ahead and go with Ochai Agbaji here out of Kansas. And then the final lottery pick is Cleveland, which is pretty dangerous because that was a good team last year. Of course, they've got Kevin Love coming back. He's under contract for one more year. Jared Allen is a monster on defense. Darius Garland just took another step last year, was in the conversation for most improved player. Isaac Okuro or Larry Markkinen. Spencer has Jeremy Sohan going to Cleveland, which I can get behind that. They don't need Mark Williams because of Jarrett Allen. So we'll go ahead and go with Jeremy Sohan here. And then that will wrap things up for the lottery. So we'll get back into it. Like I said, some of the stuff got cut off. I think a large portion of our NBA Finals talk got cut off, and then especially the coaching situation, or not the coaching, the trades. I think I mentioned those in this lottery video. But just a quick recap of what we kind of did. So we'll jump back in. I think we start talking about Kenny Atkinson going to or turning down the Charlotte Hornets head coaching position to stay on the Warriors staff. So that's all I have. And we'll get back into it. Take it over, guys. Insane.
But we just start where we left off last time. I think we got the top 10 from the NBA draft done. That'll be good enough. And his computer crapped the bed. So now I do have a little bit more to add in the NBA since last time. Just a couple of things. One, I forgot to mention 10:45. I forgot to mention that that Kendrick Lamar struck again. So, he put out the album, Warriors won. And then this just happened. Kenny Atkinson actually turned down the Hornets to stay with the Warriors. He'd actually agreed to a contract, didn't sign it. But hey, Mauricio, mute yourself. He agreed to a contract verbally, didn't sign it, and actually contacted all the assistant coaches and was getting things in order. And then I guess the champagne got to flowing, and he changed his mind and said he wanted to stay with the Warriors. So I thought that was a pretty interesting move. It really sucks for the Hornets, though.
Yeah, I figured that. I mean, when you look at the Hornets and the Warriors, compare situations, and obviously the thing to do is to stay with the Warriors. I think Kenny Atkinson was one of the people that the Bulls were looking at hiring before they went with Billy Donovan.
Everybody should be looking at hiring him. He's great.
Yeah.
And people are pointing at this to say that he's possibly going to be the successor to Steve Kerr. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
I don't even know where Steve Kerr's going.
What do you mean?
Is he going to retire soon, or?
I wouldn't put it past him retiring within the next 3 to 5 years. I mean, he's had back issues as well as stress from managing all these championship teams. And what else does he have to prove? Really, he's got all these titles. He's had a terrific run in the NBA. He could just hang it up and call it a day. And I'm sure he's had conversations like this with Kenny behind closed doors. So they obviously know a lot more about the situation. But I wouldn't put it past him retiring relatively young.
Yeah, that's true. His son is also named Nick. So
that's a huge mistake there.
Which I did see before we came on that the Bulls are looking, or something about Zach LaVine is probably going to sign his 5-year max.
I did see that.
I'll probably be staying with the Bulls.
Bulls fans.
Before we move on, though, it is Father's Day as well as Juneteenth, so I did want to say to recognize those two things so shout out, or happy Father's Day and happy Juneteenth to those who celebrate. Katrina and I went to Memphis. We went to this place called Slave Haven, and it was a house used for the Underground Railroad.
Oh, wow.
And so we learned a lot. They were actually having their Juneteenth celebration at the museum place yesterday when we went. So that was neat to experience. It was a lot of heartbreaking stuff that we heard. So, but
is that the sole reason you guys went up there?
No, we went there for our anniversary because we didn't get to celebrate it a couple of weeks ago. So
I got you.
But that was the first thing we did, and it was cool. I enjoyed it.
What else y'all do up there?
We went over to the FedEx Forum. just to then walk down Beale Street, saw a movie.
Sweet.
So, yeah. But anyway, you want to roll to NHL next, or do you want to do NFL?
Because let's go NHL because there was an eye-opening game last night. So
yeah,
we could talk about it.
Yeah. So last night, Saturday night, the Avalanche took Game 2, 7-0 against the Lightning. I haven't gotten a chance to look up stats because I've been driving most of the day. Not that it's far from Memphis here, but we went to the store. That's why I was late.
I got you.
But yeah, 7-0. That's insane, especially when you consider the Lightning, their goalie is perhaps one of the best in the league, if not the best.
Mm-hmm.
And he was awful yesterday.
Yeah, I saw where that's the most goals I think he's given up in a game, maybe ever. And then also I saw the Avs had a shorthanded goal.
Yeah.
So there's they poured it on them there.
Yeah, and so I wanted to point out before last night when we originally recorded this Friday night, I guess, that there had only been one game played. And the Avalanche took the first game 4-3 in overtime. And I wanted to point out that the Avalanche outshot the Lightning 38-23, and I was going to say that it's a trend for the Avalanche to do that, and they outshot the Lightning 30-16 last night. So, I mean, it's just they're going to overpower you in their offensive zone. So
yeah, that's crazy. But I wouldn't count out the Lightning just yet. We saw last series they went down 2-0 and came back and won 4 straight. So it could very well be the same thing. You know, they're a deep, motivated, experienced team. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly right. 2 more things. John Tortorella was hired by the Flyers, Columbus Blue Jacket players, which is the team that he coached before, saying good luck to Flyers players because apparently he's really hard on them. He has a reputation for benching guys quickly, having short hands.
How's Portilla going to coach in the NHL?
Tortellini? And then the Vegas Golden Knights hired Bruce Cassidy pretty shortly after the
Sundance Kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
After the Bruins let him go, so pretty crazy stuff. Not really crazy, but more so. I didn't expect the 7-0 from the Avalanche.
No, insane. I actually, and I don't watch a whole lot of hockey, but I did flip that on because I don't think there was any other sports going on really that night. So I flipped it on, and I want to say it was in the second period. Avs were up 3-0, and they had 2 more quick goals after that. I was like, what in the world is this?
Yeah. And amazingly, no one had a hat trick. I always look for hat tricks in these high-scoring affairs, but Cale Makar with 2 goals, and Valeri Nikushkin, I think.
He was on his way to a hat trick because he already had 2 within the second period.
Yeah. And Makar is a defenseman, so that's pretty incredible. Or not incredible, but it's kind of cool that he scored 2.
There is a player for the Avalanche that I saw is not traveling to Tampa. I cannot remember who it was. I just saw it on ESPN, though. I don't know if it had to do with an injury or suspension or what. Yeah, it's injured. Burakovsky.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably a big loss for them. I guess over to NFL now.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So the Ravens, Spencer, still haven't extended Lamar. You asked, should he play and risk injury or sit out? I'd get your take first, since you're.
Yeah, from a team standpoint, obviously, from the team and the fans, you want him to play. I mean, everybody wants to see him play, but I don't know. So I don't guess I know the entire logistics of it. So he's still on a contract, though, right? That goes through another year.
I think when I looked at the other day, his contract was like he was getting paid pretty minimally for the first few years, and then this year it's going to go up to like $20 million.
Yeah.
So it's like a $15 million jump, but this is his last year on his current contract.
Yeah. I think from a logical perspective, you sign that contract knowing that you're going to play through that year on that salary. That's just how contracts work. So from that standpoint, I would say, obviously you need to play. That's how contracts work. From another standpoint, though, like he is obviously much more valuable to that team than what his current contract shows, which is why he's trying to get that extension. And given the style of play that he runs, his risk for injury is super high and his longevity is probably going to be pretty low. So from that perspective, I would say from a player's perspective, he should probably sit out. But regardless, I think the Ravens got to pay the guy. And I don't understand what's wrong with my teams because the Ravens hadn't paid Lamar. The Suns won't pay Ayton. Something's got to give. And I don't know why I keep following these teams that won't pay their players. It's driving me crazy. And the thing is, too, the longer that they wait to pay Lamar, the higher these other QB contracts around the league keep getting. You just see guys just keep getting paid more and more. And so it's really just hurting them. So just hurry up, pay him, and then just call it a day. I mean, he's obviously incredibly valuable to your team. He's a former league MVP.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Ravens probably need to consider I know you guys have a pretty good backup, but I always forget his name. Huntley, is that it?
Yeah. Tyler Huntley.
Yeah.
But they also now have Brett Hundley.
Yeah, that's right. I did see that. But I mean, if they just look around the league and see, they're probably not going to find a good replacement for Lamar.
No. Who are they going to get? Baker Mayfield?
Right.
Get out of here.
But also at the same time, do you think the Ravens will give out a Patrick Mahomes type contract, like that 10-year, $450 million? Because you said the way his play style is, would you want to risk that?
And that may be the hang up there. That may be the disconnect between the two parties is, they don't want to risk it. So I don't know if maybe they could try to negotiate, and whether he goes for it or not, a shorter deal, something like 3 to 5 years rather than, 8 to 10.
Yeah.
They should just trade him to the Lions and get all those first round picks.
He always coming in with something crazy.
No, it's not crazy. It's like if it was in Madden, if I was the Ravens, and that's what I've done with other players. I'm not gonna pay all this money on the last year to resign them for the new contract. So what I do is either before the season or before the trade deadline, I trade them to a really bad team that has a lot of first round picks, first, second round picks, and I just give them up. And then because then you can draft one of these new quarterbacks next year and save yourself some money for the next 5 years.
But this ain't Madden, and you got to keep in mind too that the bottom line is money for these owners and stuff, and you got to put butts in seats. And everybody loves Lamar. I'm sure he's got one of the higher selling jerseys. In the league.
They would love Bryce Young as much as they would love Lamar.
No, there's no way,
and it's probably gonna be cheaper.
It's doesn't make sense. It's like in Family Guy when he says you can have this boat or you can have the mystery box, and Peter's like, "Oh, I could have a boat or the mystery box. Anything could be in the mystery box. It could even be a boat." That's the issue you're running in with Lamar.
I think you're putting Lamar Jackson you're putting Lamar on a pedestal. And what's the guy from the Bills? What's his name? The quarterback?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen has more rushing touchdowns than Lamar Jackson in his career.
Okay,
he's been healthy too, though.
What'd you say?
Lamar. He's not the long-term answer. I'm telling you.
He's just a former league MVP. That's it.
It reminds me of a certain quarterback.
He's also got more wins within his first 30 or 40 starts in the NFL than anybody else.
We're one playoff game away from him being RG3.
No, absolutely.
That's all it takes.
He's better than RG3 at this point.
Yeah, easily. It's hands down. RG3 has one.
But his play style and that running, it's gonna take one bad game, and
you have RG3. A point, but at the same time, he does very well at avoiding getting hit. He runs out of bounds a lot, and he's shifty. He knows when to get down. He knows how not to take hits for the most part.
The quarterback, the quarterback of the future are like the Mac Jones of the world,
No,
safe in the pocket.
I mean, just for the sake of argument, I think Mo does have a point of like, if the Ravens don't want to pay Lamar long term, then they could look to trade him to a team like the Lions. And I know you don't want to do it, and it makes sense why you don't want to. I'm just saying, like, if they have that if Lamar's not going to sign an extension to what they want, trade him to the Lions to get Jared Goff for a year and take a swing on Bryce Young. But the problem is that the Ravens are probably going to be too good to get that high of a pick.
Well, there's also a lot more logistics in it than just indispensable. He's not an indispensable player.
Yeah.
He's a core part of the franchise. He's the face of the franchise. He's a fan favorite.
Yeah.
You've got all this chemistry within your team with him. The players love him, and you're just gonna rock the boat on all that for no reason. This fly is the reason.
But you get the Lions pick, and they're probably gonna be like first overall next year. You get your pick of quarterbacks.
Not with Lamar at the helm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
okay, then do it halfway through the season then, like I had planned.
I wasn't.
No, you know what? The Texans. There you go.
Spencer, I wasn't saying that they should. I was just trying
to.
No,
I know.
No, I mean, don't back out, Andy. Don't be scared.
No, I wasn't. I mean, I think
just intimidate you to believe in his beliefs, like that guy from Marvel.
Most favorite pastime is busting my balls.
I mean,
I'm many years of experience as general.
That's karma.
I mean, I think they should pay him.
That's what I did to Cooper Kupp.
But I mean, this isn't Madden. And chances are, I mean, you have an established quarterback in Lamar now. You're taking a risk on one of those quarterbacks in the upcoming draft not panning out.
You can get anybody in the draft. It could be Lamar Jackson
at 28.
We're not worrying about we're worried about the bottom line.
Wasn't that the Trubisky draft?
That's what I said.
The Trubisky draft. That was Mahomes and was that Mahomes and Jackson?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering if the Bears took Trubisky and then Mahomes and then Lamar fell off later or came later.
Can you imagine the Bears had that opportunity?
Well, that's why they're the Bears.
Yeah. All right, let's move on because we're not going to agree on this.
Yeah. Someone who did get paid, and I'm sure Spencer's not too happy about this.
No, I'm very happy about it.
Oh, you are? You don't think he's very good?
No, he's great, but the more money that the Steelers spend, the better.
That's true. Well, they just got a rookie contract in Kenny Pickett, though. So,
true.
Minkah Fitzpatrick signed a 4-year, $73.6 million extension, $36 million guaranteed. It's the highest paid safety in the league. So I guess, Spencer, you kind of already talked a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, the more money they spend here, the less they can spend elsewhere. I mean, that's my belief on it.
But it's not smart to spend money on a safety.
Yeah, a lot of people would argue that. I just saw an article today that says part of the reason the Ravens are having the success that they've had is because they're focusing on non-premium positions like this. Of course, this is the Steelers, and it's the same division, so they may be looking to replicate that a little bit. And obviously, they've had tremendous defensive success, so it's working for them. But yeah, I could definitely see where that argument could be made that you shouldn't be paying a safety like that. Rather spend that money on, edge rushers or cornerbacks, things like that.
Because every time I remember football, the safeties, man, they were like the last people to do anything.
I mean, it is kind of a cushy position to be in.
Yeah, dude. I remember because when in practice we were always like smashing into each other and breaking our arms and stuff, and then the safeties are standing in the back because obviously we weren't gonna pass the ball or anything, so they were just standing there for 2 hours. If the DBs do their job, they don't have to do a whole lot.
Yeah, they're there to lay the hit.
And if you think about it, in Cabot there was never a need for a safety.
Not when you played against Cabot.
When we would play North or just in practice again, it's like they're just standing there. So I don't like safeties. What's the guy from the Bills? The safety for the Bills. What's his name?
Tre'Davious White? Or is he the corner?
think he's a corner. He's a safety. It was just I saw an article that his girlfriend was posting hating on the Bills because they were like he wasn't getting paid and his contract's coming up and the Pittsburgh guy just got paid all this money and she was like that he deserved that much more money or more.
Jarius Bird?
I
don't think that's right.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, Poinier.
Oh boy.
No, well.
Yeah, the Micah Hyde.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it. Yeah.
But the Chiefs didn't sign Tyrann Mathieu. They got Justin Reed, which I don't. So I mean, I know the talent difference is probably not the same, but either way.
And then you saw the Ravens, like I mentioned, they did go and get themselves a premier safety, and he's being paid quite a bit. The guy from the Saints, Marcus Williams, I struggle to remember.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And then, of course, they drafted Kyle is his name? Kyle Hamilton? Or
Hamilton, yeah, right?
Okay, yeah. The
Saints?
guy from Notre Dame. No, the Ravens.
That's right, yeah. Yeah. Well, we don't have to talk about this Tyreek Hill stuff because it's kind of old news.
You can talk about that guy anyway. Yeah.
I know he's your favorite. I did ask this question because I wanted to see if you guys remembered Dante Hall because for some reason I've been thinking a lot about him lately, like remembering him being insane in the return game.
You should hit him up and let him know.
Yeah, not as insane as Devin Hester, but I remember him being pretty crazy.
Is he the super fast DB? He used to play for the Chiefs?
Yeah. Well, I think he played wide receiver. I want to say he played both sides of the ball, but
really? Okay.
I think he was mainly a wide receiver.
Just to go back to Madden, I remember always putting him on my team because he was super fast. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that I don't think there are any other NFL news this week.
No, it's been relatively slow.
Yeah. I mean, it's the off season.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the thing about the mayor of Dallas wanting another team in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Yeah, that was a few weeks ago that I saw that, and then
Jerry Jones came out yesterday saying that so they can't be putting another team in town because it's gonna defeat the morale of the city and all.
I mean, of course he's gonna say that.
And then the mayor was like, "My job is to increase the economy of the city, not worry about like morale or something like that."
Dallas doesn't seem like a place that would have two NFL teams to me, though. That seems weird.
There's plenty of space, bro, over there, and there's plenty of people tired of those Cowboys.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, see, I was gonna.
It's like New York, there's that it's so small, and you have enough space for two teams right there.
Yeah, but they play New Jersey.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's time to put an actual team in New York then.
Well, I mean, you could also argue though that a team could be in Dallas and a team would be in Arlington. So
yeah,
or Fort Worth or Wahachi. Because they do have a lot of old sporting venues that could be demolished. That's what he said in his tweet, that could be demolished for new stadiums and facilities and stuff.
I was thinking Frisco, yeah.
So that's something else I saw the other day.
Oh, you have physical notes?
So, there you go. What else?
I don't know. I've been really missing football these last couple of weeks. You can't tell by my attire today.
That's understandable.
Because the Cubs are awful.
I've been missing basketball.
Really?
It's over. I'm sad.
No, man. I'll be honest with you. Basketball is my second hardest sport to get into after baseball.
Anything that you can do to get under my skin, you just go for it.
The season's too long.
It's not.
It's too long, and they're talking in October. It's like, oh, the Bulls are 9-1, but then you still have all these other 70 games to play.
Oh, almost got that fly.
But I know this is we only have 3 people. Do you guys want to open up a Moss Sports Fantasy Football?
That could be pretty fun.
At some point.
Yeah. We might could get some other. I know of our one viewer that could join us.
Our one. I'm sure my dad would join.
Okay, I think we would have enough because I think
What about your mom?
that's the viewer I was speaking of.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What about your who else in your family would be?
My dad listens as well. I don't know that he's tech savvy enough to manipulate lineups and stuff, but he probably would. And then of course Jorge could do it.
Yeah, Manny. I could probably get Manny.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we could get. How many people do you think you need for like a good like evenly spaced out fantasy?
Like 8.
8 to 10.
Yeah, I'd say probably 8 would be ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can get that done this year.
That'd be fun. We should try it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Abby says she'll play.
Abby
says she'll play this year.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
She's the biggest supporter of the podcast. Big shout out to Abby for always sharing and liking our stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's spreading the word around at work over there.
Oh, okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah. This last episode already had more views than the previous one.
Oh, really?
I checked it in like 5 days in or something like that. I mean, it's not a ton.
Well, it's probably all me because I just opened 20 tabs and hit play and just let it run throughout the night.
28 views.
There we go.
Which is the most since since
the beginning?
No. Man, people wanted to check us out in the beginning and then no one cared because we had 100 views and haven't hit anywhere close since then.
That's how it works, though.
Yeah. That's fine. I'm having fun.
Yeah. You want to move to a little baseball?
Yeah, we can go to the baseball. Mauricio's favorite team, the Astros, threw 2 immaculate innings in one game for the first time in history. An immaculate inning is 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. And they both came against the same three Rangers hitters. So that's
embarrassing.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Spencer, you said that you think a 3-pitch inning would be better. But you also argued what's better than immaculate.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't call something immaculate and then there's something else better that's out there, you know? A 3-pitch inning obviously saves the pitcher's arm and gets you out super quick. So I don't see why you can't. Is there a name for just a 3-pitch inning? Because there definitely should be.
I'm not sure. I haven't.
They got name for everything else.
But I will give you a shout out here because I had no clue. I had never heard of Fart Slam or Noble Tiger before.
Oh, okay, yeah. These 3 are the holy trinity of baseball acronyms. We've got Fart Slam, Toot Bland, and Noble Tiger. If you want to tell the viewers what those mean.
Yeah, I mean, I've loved Toot Bland for a long time, like the acronym. I hate it whenever players on my favorite team do it. The Cubs do it, but I love
honestly
the acronym.
All 3 of these are great.
Yeah. Toot Bland is thrown out on the bases like a nincompoop. Fart Slam is fielder allows runner to score like a moron. Noble Tiger, no outs, bases loaded, ending with team incapable of getting easy run. So, Spencer eats Fart Slam.
Hey. No, you're good.
Mo's a Noble Tiger though.
And Andy's got a Toot Bland.
I do.
But no, I mean, if you've got acronyms like Fart Slam and you can't come up with something for a 3-pitch inning, like, come on now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's up to me. Maybe I should take initiative and try to make something happen.
Yeah.
Although I don't know how often that happens.
I think they make things up all the time in baseball.
Just
to be honest. But no, I think you're right. I think a 3-pitch inning is better than. I mean, immaculate inning it's rare. So I think that's why it gets the attention it does. But at the same time, like if I were a manager or even probably a pitcher, I would much rather throw 3 pitches to go through an inning than 9.
Oh, for sure. And it's definitely happened to me on baseball video games before because I swing at anything. Yeah. So it's unfortunate, but
I'm sure Mauricio prefers the 3 pitches to the 9 pitches too.
Oh, of course, because it cuts the time down.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the quickest, you know. instead of pitchers, we should have pitching machines out there.
Oh well, we're not in middle school.
Look, we're in what, like June, and the season's not over till October, dude. By the time you almost have basketball back, you already have football back. Who's watching baseball? You know who?
My son's always watching baseball. He always says baseball.
I love
You're watching
baseball.
baseball during football season. You're a communist.
You're what?
A communist?
You're a communist.
Stop.
Well,
who watches baseball during America's pastime football?
I feel like that was a dig at Cuba. Directly.
Right?
I will openly admit that I'm just exhausted of watching baseball right now because the Cubs are so bad that I don't care to watch them lose every single game.
That's fair enough.
So, I mean, that's partly why I really want football season to come around, because I don't care about baseball right now because the Cubs suck.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But, I mean, if they were good, then I would be watching them in October alongside football, not instead of.
This is actually the most I've watched professional baseball as well as college baseball in any given year. I don't know. It's become more interesting. I think because my son's also getting into it. He really likes the pitching aspect of it. He hadn't quite got the hitting part down, but he wants to watch it, so we watch it, and it's been a good time.
Yeah. When's Arkansas's next game?
I want to say tomorrow against Ole Miss.
Okay.
They had a great showing against Stanford, winning 17-2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Texas lost, right, to Notre Dame that first game.
Mm-hmm. They sure did. Now they are currently playing Texas A&M right now. Really spicy matchup, the old rivalry.
I saw that like a lot of them had Texas as a favorite to win it. Also, I was kind of surprised that they lost to Notre Dame right away.
Yep, Notre Dame's been cruising though. They've been doing super well, especially after beating number 1 seed Tennessee.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think of Notre Dame like it's a really good baseball team, you know?
Oh no, for sure not.
They're like middle of nowhere in Indiana playing baseball. Like,
I mean, to be fair, I was gonna say Abby's right. Like, if you had a sport that somebody's gonna play in the middle of nowhere and be good at, I think baseball would be the one.
Would be the one. Jeez, that's like all those West Coast teams. That makes sense, you know, because they're really good out there playing baseball.
Yeah.
And then I guess in the South we're getting better. It's like more SEC teams every year making to the Omaha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this and I should know this, but I don't watch a whole lot of college baseball. Is this a win 2 and you're moving on kind of thing? I know it's double elimination, but
I was gonna say, it's a double elimination thing. Yeah, I think I couldn't tell you. It's so confusing to me, and I still not wrap my head completely around it. But I'm pretty sure if Arkansas wins tomorrow, yes, they move on. But it's so weird because you have your conference tournament, and then they send you to a regional, and then you have a super regional, and now you have the College World Series. That's way too much, and I think they got to fix that because that's just insanely convoluted. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
It's like so many teams make it to the regional, and you gotta you can play 3 to 5 games there, and then you go to the super regional and you can play 3 to 4 games there, and then you make it to Omaha, and depending how you're doing, you can play another 4 to 5, 6 games there.
Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. So this past week, 2 no-hitters were lost in the 9th inning. Miles Michaelis of the St. Louis Cardinals lost, and Tyler Anderson of the Los Angeles Dodgers both lost their no-hitters with 1 out left in the 9th.
So close.
Rough for them, but I mean, I know if you ask them, they would like to get a no-hitter, but they're probably wanting the win for their team because that's typical athlete talk.
Speaking of pitchers, there's one interesting prospect in the MLB draft combine, switch pitcher, Hurangulo Cincha. He throws 90 plus with both hands and has that reversible glove that he can throw on the other hand. I've always thought that's pretty cool because if you've ever tried to throw any kind of ball with your non-dominant hand, you look like a goof. Yeah. And to see him do that at 90 plus with both hands is just mental. Like I can't even comprehend it. I don't know if he'll be able to do it at the next level, but it's certainly an enticing prospect to try out. And I mean, if it gets fans interested, why not sign him and try him out at least in the minors?
Yeah, there was a guy a couple years ago named Pat Venditti, something like that. He was a switch pitcher, and he didn't last very long in the majors. But I mean, the thing, I think, we see a lot more switch hitters obviously than we see switch pitchers, and I think that's partly because when you pitch, you want to focus on your dominant hand, obviously, but you also like with movement and the speed of the pitches and all that stuff, location, like there's so much to pitching to where it's, I mean, when you're a switch hitter, you're doing the same motion from the other side of the plate, whereas pitching is, I think that's probably a lot different than, so. Yeah.
I guess you could argue though, with switch pitching, you could also though save your arm. So you're not, throwing 90, 100, 120 pitches with one arm. It depends if you're switching in the middle of a game or not. I don't know. But if one arm does end up causing you trouble later down the line, you could then focus on the other arm. So there's that advantage.
Yeah. But I mean, I hope he makes it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I hope he's successful, because I think that would probably open the door to a lot of kind of like the way Steph Curry has kind of revolutionized NBA.
Did you say Seth?
Steph.
Oh, okay.
I mean, sure, you can go Seth.
You could argue that. Bria always, every time she sees Seth Curry on the TV, she says, "Is that the other Curry?" And then she dogs him. She's like, he's not good, but I mean, he is.
I mean, yeah, I think at one point he did have a better 3-point percentage. If he doesn't,
I think he still does. So. Career, yeah.
But that's, also, to be fair, that might be volume. To be fair,
it is volume. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Because he's a role player, and Steph takes 20, 25 shots a game.
Yeah. Was that what you were going to say, or did you have?
No, I was just going to say that the guy in the MLB draft combine has a hell of a name. So I like that.
Yeah.
Where's he from?
I don't know. Let me Google that while.
It sounds like he might be like from the Dominican Republic.
That would make sense. I was thinking that or Cuba.
Yeah,
he's from Florida, so.
Florida.
So he's probably Cuban.
Is he playing college ball or?
Yeah. It's one of those things. He's committed to Mississippi State, but you don't, if he gets drafted, he can kind of make that decision.
Oh, okay. So he'll be coming out of high school.
Yeah.
So he lives in Florida, but he's from Curacao.
Oh wow! It wouldn't have. Okay.
Yeah. Curacao. Yep, where Andrew Jones came from.
Did not expect that. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I should just take advantage of my Spanish and just go scout for these teams in Spanish.
You're finna get cut off. We gotta move this to a new meeting.
Oh shoot. Yep. So just wrapping up baseball real quick. Rob Manfred says the Rays and A's stadium situation seem to be solved soon. That was kind of the hang up for the expansion talks. And both those teams have garbage stadiums. So
I was gonna say, because I don't know anything about it, I could have swore the Rays got a relatively new one not that long ago. I know the A's one sucks, but are they like super bad, like as bad as like the Washington Commanders Stadium, or
like? In my opinion, those are the two worst stadiums in baseball.
Okay.
The Rays stadium, I think, predates the franchise.
Oh wow! Okay, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and of course the A's used to share the stadium with the Raiders until the Raiders moved to Las Vegas. So,
well, maybe I think what I saw with the Rays stadium was just a concept. Like a few years back, somebody was like, if they were to make a new stadium, this is what it should look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it still Tropicana?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is very old then, because I remember playing like 2001 triple play baseball, and it was still that.
Yeah. So we'll head into our weekly miscellaneous section.
Yeah.
The first kind of question: should officials be interviewed? Not mid-game is. I think I meant post-game is.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
there because I did see something. Someone had asked on Twitter. I think should officials be interviewed post-game, and I think I accidentally put mid-game.
Oh.
So post-game.
I think
yeah, so they can answer for all their mistakes.
yeah. So like when you said mid game, I was thinking no, and that got me on a little bit of a tangent talking about I hate the fact that they interview coaches mid game because it doesn't add any value. It's always these super lame boilerplate answers because obviously they're focused on something else. Like you wouldn't want somebody coming into your job in the middle of a project to start interviewing you. So just wait till after the game when they can add a little bit more input. But yeah, I think with officials, that would be extremely interesting. They've already moved to adding that last 2-minute report, which it seems to, even if it doesn't affect the outcome when they screwed up, it still at least allows an outlet for fans to see like, hey, we were wrong.
Right.
So I think a post-game interview with that would be good too. And obviously they probably wouldn't have a whole lot of sound bites or air a whole lot of them because most of them would be pretty bland. But if it was like a controversial ending or some controversial officiating, I think that would be super interesting for them to do. And I mean, what is one more press conference after the game? I think it'd be good.
Yeah, I agree. I think they should just. I think for an accountability factor too. Like you said, if a game ends in a controversial way, like I know they wanted MLB umpires mic'd up for after challenges. And I think you kind of want to figure out why certain things happen the way they do. But that's just me. I think that's a better thing.
But not only that, like even beyond answering for their mistakes, it would allow the fan base to understand a little bit more what goes on behind the scenes and what the officials are really looking at. Because if you hear them talking in detail about what they're looking at in certain situations and how that affects different calls, and you understand a lot more as a fan to why some calls may be a lot tougher than others and why it's not always just, it's the ref's fault. And I'm the worst at doing that. Obviously I bring up officiating a bunch, but I think it would help to give that insight to really how they do their job. So how it goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah. And then
they should have is there a reason why they've never done that? Like, but everybody gets interviewed after a game, but why like no refs?
Probably negotiated out of their union contracts with the league.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Spencer, you put NCAA proposes transfer windows. I haven't really checked into this, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing set in stone yet. I think it's just a proposal that they're gonna talk about at the next meeting. And I didn't look at the specific dates either, but it looks like they're talking about, so it would be like transfer windows as far as you can put your name in the transfer portal for a certain period of time rather than right now it's pretty much whenever you want, however long you want, as long as teams are recruiting you. But it would be like, hey, you have a 2-month window, put your name in. If you want to go anywhere, you can. If you want to stay, you can come back. And then after that window's done, obviously you're out. So,
okay.
I mean, I just wanted to see if you guys thought that was a good idea or what, because I know there has been a lot of talks about the transfer portal recently.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, as long as we brought this up one other time. Like, if coaches can just up and leave whenever they want to, then players should be able to as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's understandable. I don't know. I think I really like the window idea. I think it gives teams a lot more concrete idea of what they're going to do with their roster. Because right now, even though, like you said, with the coaches situation, it does suck. It's leveraged more toward the coaches, but with this, it at least lets the team, know how many scholarships they have open to give out, because right now, if you've got a guy sitting in the transfer portal and you're not sure if he's going to come back or not, then it's just kind of sucks for that team and sucks for that person that might be looking for that final scholarship spot, and you can't give it out because you don't know if a key player is coming back or not.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. So I'd be okay with that. We don't hit on professional wrestling ever because I don't pay attention to it very much, if any at all.
Mauricio's about to just blow this podcast wide open with this topic.
It's like it's the end of a dynasty.
Yeah. So what he's referring to is Vince McMahon has stepped down from WWE CEO position because of some sexual allegations, I think. Or not sexual allegations. It's some what's it called?
Hush money that he paid
Yeah.
I think it was a PA within the organization that he was having an affair with. He paid some hush money to her.
Yeah.
And now he stepped down, and Stephanie McMahon will step in the meantime.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably I keep wanting to compare him to Dan Snyder for some reason, because I think it's because he just does so much stuff and gets away with it.
You don't want to bring up Dan Schneider this time?
No, I almost did.
I laughed. I went back and listened to that, and I laughed so hard just because it caught me off guard.
Yeah.
He survived so many things. Like I just have a feeling he's gonna survive this. Like he's. I don't know what's gonna take to bring him down, but
that's a good point, because he's survived some really scummy stuff about insisting some wrestlers say and do certain things. It's been like really
steroid scandals.
Mm-hmm.
The steroids, all the controversial storylines he wrote up for his wrestling show.
Mm-hmm. There was some kind of I heard something about some kind of incest storyline that he was proposed to Stephanie McMahon.
In the mid 2000s, his daughter was the manager of one of the shows, and one of the storylines was that she was going to be pregnant, and they were going to try to figure out who it was. And at the end of the storyline, you're going to find out that he was the father of the baby. Pitch that idea.
Way.
Yeah, dude.
I'm so glad somebody in their right mind got that down, because my God.
There's a couple of YouTube videos, because there's like literally lists of all this crazy stuff that he pitched and didn't go, but then there's the list of stuff that did happen. I'm
gonna have to watch. You gotta send us that in the chat, because I need to see that.
Yeah, this guy is like. I'm not surprised that the allegations came out, because just by his writing, you can tell that there's something wrong with it.
Yeah, there definitely is. Okay, let's move on.
On Friday, he did show up on his show on live television on Fox, and he talked in front of the audience on the live event.
Wow!
And they cheered for him.
I heard that he didn't really say anything about anything.
Yeah, but here's my thing. If I was in that situation, I wouldn't be like talking in public,
Yeah. Somebody was like, you go ahead.
Yeah. His lawyers are probably please shut up.
And then here, like, okay, he steps down, but then his daughter takes over. Like, how's that not gonna, he's still gonna be involved. Like, it's like they gotta talk to each other,
Well, and you bring up Andy, you bring up the parallel between him and Dan Snyder. That's kind of the exact same thing, because Dan Snyder stepped down and his wife took over on the team. So it's like obviously a huge conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Y'all need to start watching wrestling again, dude. I'm telling you.
I guess. I don't know if I don't have time. B, it's just, I don't know. It seems like it's being more watered down over time than what it used to be.
I've tried, and it's just, it's so dumb.
No. Hey, Andy, you need to watch Wednesday nights for 2 hours, and then Friday night. But not his, the other one.
That's so long.
I will say the other one I'm more intrigued by, because
which one? The AEW?
Yeah, it reminds me of WCW a little bit. But
that's why I started watching wrestling again. Not only AEW.
When they started started showing characters like Hornswoggle and all this
Oh, yeah,
crazy
that's-
stuff.
I
I was
checked
like,
out.
y'all are, yeah, I'm checking out of this.
But yeah,
I don't think I've watched WWE like I used to watch it like religiously like every Monday and Friday night, but I stopped in 2011 because that's when it started like spiraling out of control. That was around the Trump, when Trump was at WrestleMania. I don't know if y'all remember. He was in a hair versus hair match.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember him being on the show.
He won the match and he had to shave Vince McMahon at WrestleMania. So
and then later on down the road, they got LeVar Ball in on the action. We got to see his funky run.
Dude, like it was like right after the draft, when his son got drafted by the Lakers. That Monday night on Raw, like all three of them showed up. He took off his shirt. He said the S word a bunch of times.
Yeah. Oh, they ended up integrating his run into NBA 2K. You could add his running style on the park mode. It was hilarious.
Gosh. Oh boy.
Andy, I know you're mad that we missed out on a couple of good sports movies.
I'm not mad. We just didn't really talk about
fuming.
them. So I did want to shout out. Last episode we talked about something is going.
That's Mauricio. Mauricio need to mute again. There we go.
Okay. I don't know what that was. So last week we talked about favorite sports movies, and I did want to give a shout out to a couple of movies that we didn't mention, and that's Moneyball. Of course, that's the Oakland A's story from the early 2000s. It's based off the book, and Warrior. Warrior is about two brothers that kind of estranged brothers that end up fighting each other, UFC or mixed martial arts type stuff. Really great movie. And then I guess, Spencer, you wanted to give a shout out to Hustle on Netflix, which stars Adam Sandler.
And Queen Latifah, and has a myriad of NBA players starring in it. I mean, huge names. It was incredible. We watched it last night. And it's one of those feel good sports movies. It's not like super cheesy and corny. It's tremendous. And I saw an article on Bleacher Report, and I don't know if I'd go this far, at least yet, before I've had a chance to maybe watch it again or at least digest it a little more. But Bleacher Report said that it might be one of the best basketball movies of all time. But it's a tremendous movie. I was super impressed with what they did with it.
I've heard good things about it as well. So
yeah, you need to go watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge Adam Sandler fan.
I think can he throw the two best?
What?
Oh, like my chicken was cutting up, but I was like, can he throw the two best basketball movies?
Which are?
Air Bud.
First one is I
didn't catch it.
And then Love and Basketball.
Love and Basketball is great. I'll give you that one.
What was the first one you said?
Was it Hoosiers?
Oh, like Mike.
Oh, Mike.
Bro, I love Mike.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I thought about bringing that one up. Me and my wife watched that a bunch.
Or the classic Air Bud. That's the original.
I knew you'd bring up Air
Bud. America's Hero.
American Hero.
Yeah, so that kind of led me into, and I don't know if we want to make this into a weekly segment, because I thought it would be kind of cool to hear what other media you guys are consuming, because personally, I like learning about new music or new movies, TV shows, books, or whatever. So what are you guys personally listening to, watching, reading?
Mo?
I've been listening to a bunch of new music. The Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
Stranger Things.
Season had a bunch of music from the 80s.
Yeah.
So I've been finding all this new music, and I'm like, that's interesting.
I haven't got in on the latest season of Stranger Things. I think I talked to you guys about that before. The first season was good, the other ones were, but I consume it all. Just gobble gobble gobble. Right now, my wife and I, it's a nightly thing. We put the kid to bed and we hop in bed and watch 2 episodes of Degrassi because I had never seen it. She'd kind of forgotten about what it was, and they're about to do a reboot and stuff. I'm really enjoying that. Of course, for TV, it's usually live sports and Toy Story about 50 times a week. And then I used to listen to a bunch of podcasts and audiobooks on my commute, but starting tomorrow, I'm working from home, so I guess that won't be happening very much. And then, of course, definitely Reddit and a ton of Twitch. Also active on the Discord, but the usual. What about you, Andy?
I mean, I'm on Reddit quite a bit. Music wise, like I love music, but for some reason, like lately, I haven't been listening to a lot of new music.
I think it's a product of getting older. I feel like that's the same way.
Like I always sought out new music before, but now I'm just like listening to the same stuff. Like I'm even contemplating, I'm gonna put together an early 2000s rap playlist. Like,
yeah. Have you listened to Kendrick's new album much?
I have. I haven't gone back and listened to it again yet, but
okay.
I need to. I did see Logic put out. I want to say it's a mixtape. It feels like a mixtape from what I've checked.
He retired.
Apparently not.
Interesting.
It's called Vinyl Days, I think. As far as TV, I mean, I've mentioned it a couple weeks ago. Letterkenny is what I've been watching.
Oh, that's right.
Haven't finished it yet or caught up to it yet. My wife and I are watching The Weakest Link.
Oh yeah, that's your thing. That's when you guys' thing since when you guys first got married, right?
Yeah, and well, I think it's only been around for a couple of years, but Katrina keeps wanting me to apply to be on the show.
We'll do it.
Yeah, I might.
Also, you guys could if you. I don't know. Is it like something that you watch the new episode every week?
We have been, yeah. Like
okay, I was gonna say
like a day later.
If you ever got in a position to where like you wanted to watch it like every night, you can go back and watch the old one.
Yeah, that's true. And I have stumbled upon this podcast. I'll talk about it for a second. Ooh. It's not sports related. It's kind of like a true crime mystery kind of podcast. So, and this, I kind of cling to it because it happened. This happened in where I'm from in Springfield, Missouri. So like in 1992, these 2 girls graduated from high school and they went to all these kind of parties and eventually ended up at one of the girls' mom's house. And then the 3 just disappeared and no one's been able to find them since. Like there were no signs of struggle at the house where they were last known to be. And
that's crazy.
Like they just, I don't want to say celebrated the 30th. It was like the 30th anniversary of them disappearing like earlier this month. And so this podcast kind of goes into some of the details of what happened around the time that they interview police officers, detectives, they talk to family members and stuff like that.
That sounds real good.
It's called the Springfield 3. And so it just kind of digs into that. I do have a problem with the lady calling Springfield a small town. Like she keeps referring to Springfield as a small town. And
yeah, I guess it's a relative thing. Maybe she grew up in like a super huge metropolis. I don't know.
she says she grew up in Springfield, but I think I looked up where, and it looks like she lives in New York City now. So I can see where she would probably call it a small town. But
what's a population around Springfield?
The city says it's about 170.
Yeah,
170,000. No, and I looked in 1992 or the 1990 census said it was about 140. So
yeah,
it's about double the size of Conway.
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty medium to large town.
Yeah, but that definitely bothers me. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm consuming right now. Pretty interesting stuff. Their episodes are only like 30 minutes long, so you don't have to.
Oh, I might have to get into that then.
Yeah. I can send it in the chat.
For sure.
I was going to open it up to Mo's Conspiracy Corner. I didn't know if you had any last minute conspiracies that you want to talk about.
The conspiracy right now is that it sounds like he's running over potholes, but I hope that it's potholes and not somebody else.
There's a speed bump in the highway?
It's because like where they live out here in at her town, it was like 40 minutes outside of Houston, so it's like a lot of like like dirt roads and back roads and stuff.
The way
So it's like really bumpy when you get out here.
the way that the service is slowing your voice down is cracking me up. Did you bring the chili rellenos on a trip with you?
Oh my god. You can get so far out of town right here.
I'm gonna assume that's a no. All I heard was
working.
Out of town.
So I wake up from my nap. I wake up from my nap, and after I got home from work, I shave that whole chile relleno.
That's
but
funny.
Here's the thing. It made her stomach hurt, so maybe it was a good thing that I didn't eat it.
You're not going to turn me into the bad guy here. This is not my fault because those were your chili rellenos. It is not my fault here.
You're the one that recommended it.
No, I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm not going to bed feeling guilty.
No, it's like that guy that killed Batman's parents, you know?
Well, we'll get into the conspiracy corner later. I think Spencer needs to go spend some time with his family. Mo and Abby are going to go spend some time with Abby's family. I've got to go spend some time with my family. I say that as I have to. I get to go spend some time with my family.
It's a chore for him.
No.
You got to go be with
No,
family.
I enjoy it. So I will. We'll talk to you guys later. Check out the podcast wherever. I'll try. Well, okay. This Tuesday, I may not be able to get it. I may not be able to get it out Tuesday, but it should be out Wednesday at the latest. So
Okay, Kingsley, you want to say goodbye? Speak into it. Say goodbye. Oh, now you don't want to talk. Okay. Happy Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Father's Day.
take
Happy
it easy.
Juneteenth. You as well. See ya. Oh, Kingsley said bye. See you, Kingsley. See you guys.
Bye.